But there's a mixture of pressure coming from this. You know, ultimately, k1llsen, he wants to remain the champion, the reigning supreme factor. And then if you're vengeur, I mean, you can't even put into words how much a victory in his home territory would mean to him. It would make the crowd go wild, electric almost. And it's stuff that he's trying not to think about too much to prevent being distracted, obviously. But I mean, there's a lot of moving parts here when it comes to the levels of hype. We're going into map number 1. It's going to be k1llsen. It's going to be vengeur. Let's get Blood Covenant up and running.
It's going to be Nyx versus Slash, and it's going to be loud. Here's the hometown crowd roaring for vengeur. We're going to follow him off the spawn. A bit of MG damage right off the bat as one rocket from k1llsen just to shoo him away for the time being. Ghostwalk is up and available just in case it gets crazy in that peak from k1llsen. A little bit unaware of vengeur's place here. Look at him just walking. He wants rail so bad. It's going to be such a dangerous peak. There's the rail. vengeur's like, okay, I didn't want to take that one here, but he does drop down to the 50. He's going to make his way to the heavy as the players will trade the items one more time.
I really want to rewind time for a few hours for the guys and girls watching right now. You know, it was base versus vengeur on this exact map. Vengeur approached a very unorthodox style with Anarchy, and he was being kept away from the rail for quite a significant amount of time. I think he's going into this thinking, look, rail was really important. If the earlier I can get it, the better. But both of these players, I mean, especially k1llsen, sometimes people call him. We'll see if he can match through. Unfortunately, the pressure was laid on, and the expectation to land some miracle shots after taking 2, taking 3. k1llsen has to be really careful. Hits another one. Can he finish the job? Goes in for the SSG just in case he chases down LG direction. And k1llsen away with his life, but barely. There's not a lot of resources left on this map. If he goes by heavy, there's a lot of stuff he could potentially take, but it's out in the open. Risks facing certain death. He's trying to go down the catacombs. The rail finally misses, thanking his lucky stars that he's finally been able to get away. And vengeur, trying to lay that pressure on, is able to maintain it. Gets the double jump. k1llsen annihilated for that first frag.
Hearing the roar of the crowd there, the wall jump, aiding him in jumping the gap and getting that frag with the LG. There's a great rail. vengeur heating up. He's going to try for another one. Maybe another one. Can't land the last 2 as k1llsen survives, gets the mega, and gets the hell out of there. vengeur up 1-0, 2 minutes in, though, looking very strong. Very streaky with the rail, but he'll take the damage he can get. There's a huge jump over there right in his face. No real damage dealt.
No need to go for the Ghost Walk just yet either. It's one of the fundamental tools of a matchup when you have a champion like Nyx versus a high-octane, fast and furious champion like Slash. It's always a game of patience. You always expect an, oh my god, 100 damage. That hurts so good for k1llsen. k1llsen does manage to get a delicious vertical rail, and the Ghost Walk finally popped. That was exactly why you save it for when the time is right there. vengeur can barely tank 1 rail. Has to be very careful. These are 2 pretty light champions coming through. k1llsen eats 1 rocket. Only 1 rail left in the tank, though. vengeur has to be very careful with how he picks the shot, because he's only going to get 1 of them.
I like the instant reaction there from k1llsen. Right when the Ghost Walk was popped, he popped the trail and he was out of there. There's a great rail through the telly. vengeur thought he was going to go for another one, but he's not going to risk his stack as it's a little bit weak here. Rocket flies by as k1llsen makes his way over to the heavy. There's a great rocket on the bridge. Follow up with the rail, won't land. Still looking for more here. I like that little feint jump down. Rails exchanged again, no dice. vengeur will use that wall jump again to get over to the bridge, get a better position. He will eat a rail and be forced off of that position.
We saw this when vengeur fought off against base. There's a lot of respect. Like, he knows these up against k1llsen, and k1llsen has a habit of hitting these crazy shots. Even though vengeur himself has off-the-chain accuracy, it's just a matter of if you have even a risk of giving up an angle and it puts you in a weird spot. vengeur's not really taking it today. He is playing so crazy careful. And when he has the lead, you know, obviously that's going to benefit his style, but the opening rockets, is he going to win this fight? Looks like k1llsen gets the rocket he's after, making it a 1-1, picking the perfect time to go in, and perfectly timed for the heavy as a nice little reward.
He's going to grab the vials, and that's going to be huge. He's going to have the slash trail up. Ghostwalk going to be up temporarily as the shards go to vengeur. Great vertical rail there. He's going to grab the mega. Almost an opportunity to try and hit another one here. Is he going to catch him out in the stairwell? He will. There's the slash trail as well. And the Ghostwalk saves vengeur's life. Barely hanging alive, and he gets stuck in the trail, and that's going to be a frag for k1llsen. What a trap.
I really feel like vengeur must have just been stuck between a rock and a hard place, because not only the looming damage of the plasma trail, but the detonation, and he was so weak. No real chance of him surviving it. Entry damage for the LGs coming in hot. k1llsen making chase. But to continue eating a lot of Tri-Bolt.
Wow.
More Tri-Bolt for him to be comfortable with pursuing that one. Keeping his lead for now and establishing timing and just general health bursts thanks to the Mega. And he's looking for more. Getting denied. Doesn't quite hit the rail there. Doesn't really matter too much as right now q1llsen maintains his lead. The benefit of Slash being able to get in and out kind of whenever she wants.
Only one rocket for q1llsen. There it goes. Just like that. He needs to realize he doesn't have any more. He's going to swap to rail, try and find some damage. That's going to be one miss. Looking for another one as rockets coming in from vengeur. And he decides with the heavy machine gun that he's going to pepper in some damage into the rail. Very well done. There's the ghost walk up the jump pad. And just like that, the trail comes out yet again. I like the reactions from q1llsen. Just get out of there. You don't want to mess with it. And it's already netted you a frag. Why not some extra damage?
Didn't quite get the rocket. He had the right read, though, kind of knowing that he was going to double down and try and get that light armor. Just the rocket was a little bit too late on that one. LG being matched immediately, knowing he's going for the speed.
Oh!
Miracle rocket! You actually saw the player cam q1llsen. That was a what was that?
Right between the eyes. q1llsen not afraid to show emotion here as vengeur ties it at 2. Rounding the 6-minute mark. Ghostwalk is up. He wants a rail. He's going to be able to secure that without much trouble. Maybe even the heavy as well. Mega's going to be up in about 13 seconds. That's a pretty good spread. He can make his way back if he wishes. He's going to take the low road, which could cause some problems here. Is he going to go up the jump pad for free? There's the damage. Ghostwalk coming out. There's the chase. Needs to be careful. And look at that double back. I like that.
Actually, a half second away from getting a telefrag on the ghost walk.
Wow.
He's going to get fragged again, trying to bully his way into Mega. Doesn't quite work out. And off the back of the previous frag that we saw vengeur get, Zoot did say himself he believes that vengeur has the greatest rockets in the world at this point. And it just comes down to these wild predictions. That was a game of q1llsen thinking, how did he aim at that specific angle, knowing I was going to go there? But it's the edge that vengeur has. It's this area of talent that feels almost unmatched with specific weapons. He just finds these miracle scenarios that are almost impossible to factor in. Here comes the rail, trying to run away, going in for a rail again, but doesn't actually need a rail at this stage. Was just looking for something nice and long range, perhaps. q1llsen forced onto the back foot. At this point, can he even really fight for the heavy? At the very best, can he maybe try and pick an angle and delete it, or use this time? Intelligently, actually, vengeur was trying to establish another rail, knowing that q1llsen's unlikely to fight for it, and use that time to try and build back up the natural stack. A good call, but just didn't quite get the shot. But the read was there. His mind was in the right place.
A very strong read from vengeur there. Good rails from both players. As he's looking for a little bit more, playing patient. Less than 30 minutes, vengeur has a 1 frag lead on map number 1. Again, this is the last quarterfinal game of the day. Who is going to make it to the semis? Ghostwalk still available just in case something goes terribly wrong here at the heavy, but it's going to be a clean pickup for vengeur as he makes his way over. He's going to rocket jump up to the rail. He wants to re-up on those, and then a nice wall jump back over towards the rockets. Great rail. Snail trail comes out immediately again, and vengeur right on top of the Mega just in case. He's gone up that jump pad to Mega twice and done such an immense amount of damage to q1llsen that I think q1llsen's like afraid to take that fight now almost.
I think some of those amazing angles that vengeur's been able to almost like bully into q1llsen has made him a little bit self-conscious of the whole thing, I wonder. Because when you fight someone like vengeur who's hitting shots that you're just not used to seeing. And even when these players have played multiple times, and even in the online weeklies, shots like that don't happen. It's a lot more.
What kind of reaction was that? That must be 19+1 reaction. You don't get that with old man reaction.
These young whippersnappers.
These young kids today, but 3-2. Time is ticking. Snail trail comes out from q1llsen. The jump over, a little bit of LG. Vengeur playing defensive down in the blood pool now. He's going to eat a rail. He's going to try and escape through the LG back into the pillar room.
Well, q1llsen's been able to really enforce a lovely level of control here. That might in part be the fact that vengeur has adopted a very defensive style. There is just over a minute left, and if vengeur just plays his cards right, we saw this exact same thing against base. Gets a wonderful rocket. Going in for a 1v1. q1llsen, can he use this opportunity to really lay the smack down on vengeur, who right now is just looking for armor? That's why he's jumping down towards Banana.
He didn't use Ghost Walk, even in that situation. High pressure. There's the drop down into a rocket. Snail trail comes out. q1llsen so hurt, misses with the rail, and vengeur again holding on to that Ghost Walk. If he could just make it a little bit further, that Ghost Walk can ensure the victory. He's still up by 1, 50 seconds left.
But it is those rockets that's just becoming such a huge pain for q1llsen. The moment he goes in for the kill, it's 100 almost every single time. vengeur just hitting the perfect shot. And the damage against Slash, she has to take that very seriously. She can't just force her way through and go, okay, 100, whatever, I'll use the rest of my stack. Because if he hits any more of those rockets in a situation you've been forced in, you may as well be a guaranteed death. And q1llsen... And then we're back. Sorry about that, folks. 10 seconds left of the clock. Not quite sure what happened there, but we're back.
I just keep kicking wires. 5 seconds left. q1llsen's going for the frag. He needs this more than anything, but the defensive rocket for vengeur will win him the map.
Got that right. Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Are we back, 40? Are we alive?
I think we're good. I'm just, I'm so antsy. I'm kicking my feet around. This is a crazy set. This was a crazy map. And vengeur, that frag was hilarious. I'm not going to lie. Getting stuck in the stairwell with the snail trail. That rocket, though, you could see that reaction from q1llsen, so upset. This play up the jump pad, fearless. He did it twice. That one netted him the frag. Another one did an immense amount of damage. But in the end, these rockets so strong, keeping q1llsen out 4-2. vengeur takes map number 1, and that's going to be huge. Gaining momentum, I think, in these sets is everything. And starting like that, q1llsen being so close to tying it, and vengeur saying no with that rocket. Absolutely fantastic play from the young hometown hero.
I mean, vengeur is just so careful now. He's going into this with a lot of respect, and I really want to wind the clock back 1 year when we saw vengeur kind of have, I suppose, his breakout performance on a LAN setting, which was this very tournament, the one that Razy was able to take first place in. And vengeur, the main thing he said, the longer the tournament went on, the more comfortable he would become and the more like himself he would play. And he kept saying to, to Zoot especially, was saying, I feel like flip that on its head. I don't know if that's the first you just heard of me saying that, but we're back. We keep losing audio our end. Sorry about this, guys. If you can
that time it wasn't my fault.
But if they can, I don't think it, well, that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
But personally, I don't think it is. I think it's just things being nicked or whatever it might be. But fundamentally, God, if imagine if it's only us losing audio and I'm just interrupting my own sentences going, hey, wait, what? Huh? We're back.
I mean, regardless, I'm having a great time, all right? I'm sure the crowd's having a great time. I hope chat's having a great time. It's been a long day of Quake, but this is going to be a long series. The reigning champ has to have it in his mind that I'm defending this belt. I'm defending my honor, defending my championship, and I'm defending my right to carve my name into that belt one more time. Map number 2 is live. vengeur versus q1llsen on Awoken. Ketchup, what do you think is going to happen?
I'm just looking at the way the maps went, and I'm looking at the fact that, one of the things is that the Blood Covenant being q1llsen's pick, and a map that he's exceptionally strong at being taken by vengeur in the fashion it did, where vengeur looked extremely comfortable. Now we are going on to Awoken, which is the map that vengeur is kind of famous for at this stage. So it's quite concerning, really. q1llsen has his work. Position to maybe take this fight if he wishes, but right now we're going to disengage, back up and restock up just a little bit.
Stacks about even now, a minute in. There's a vengeur playing down below. LG over, q1llsen that makes the leap. What a flick rail from vengeur. Almost gets the one through the drive-through window. q1llsen will get the mega and a rail of his own, but Needs to be careful here. Vengeur stack really weak, 27 HP. Both players extremely weak after that. One health bubble towards Vengeur. He could go through the telly. Opts not to as k1llsen makes his way towards the LG room. Doubles back and hits a great rail as Vengeur's going up the jump pad.
But that first decision that vengeur made to really kind of sit on heavy and try and get that information, we get some opening damage on k1llsen first, it kind of just created that delay. You know, there's 10 seconds separating the two items, and on Awoken, that's more than enough time to cycle the two of them if you can establish control. Vengeur out of control, does pick up small armor at the right time, forced to use his Dire Orb just to remove the angle from k1llsen. Gets hit by a rail all the same. That wonderful use of the jump pad. k1llsen might be able to go in for the kill, of which he does. That's finally a frag on the board. k1llsen taking the lead here.
I think really utilizing that double jump there. Doom's so hard to hit with rockets. Usually shotgun LG the better option against him here as Mega is taken by k1llsen once again. He's waiting below. What a rail. Cuts off the telly play there from Vengeur, forcing him towards the drive-through window. And now he's stuck LG on LG. Vengeur fighting for his life out of the corner here. k1llsen has him dead to rights with the shotgun. And that is going to be a big frag. 2-0 for k1llsen now.
And Vengeur was very much stuck, I think, in a rock and a hard place there. You know, forced to retreat and stuck back up. Unfortunately, the moment k1llsen was there, jump pad became absolutely impossible because he may as well have just guaranteed to death in that situation. He was 3 seconds short of the Dire Orb coming back, so the chance to escape wasn't there. And whether he even would have used it to try and escape remains to be seen, because maybe it would have been a waste of an orb in his eyes. But either way, 2-0. Vengeur clipped by this rail. Feel like at this rate, Opposites Day is coming back into full effect for another time. We always talk endlessly about how Vengeur has this almost untouchable rate on Awoken, but he's not the only player in the world that can play Awoken at high level. He just has this edge. Right now, k1llsen getting in between that edge and really making it work. He has a fat stack to work with too. At the moment, he's trying to get a read here. Maybe bait him towards the Mega, put him into a false sense of security.
Mega again goes to k1llsen, gets a little more rail, and wow. Re-ups on the rail and dodges that rocket, making it look stylish. Vengeur dropping down, very dangerous. k1llsen stalking his prey. He's going to play through the telly as well. Here's the jump pad. There's another rail, and k1llsen is alive and well. The 50 shard will go to Vengeur as he has to live off these tiny items. k1llsen running the heavy and the Mega without issue.
I mean, the longer k1llsen can force Vengeur to play from an extreme deficit of stack all the time, it kind of just creates this wonderful situation for him where he can just run around, keep the control going. Vengeur's not in a position to really fight, even with the use. Now, that rail was really important. A little bit of a temporary distraction with Dire Orb. Unfortunately, though, he has lost one of his forms of escape if he's forced to do it. Caught mid-jump with the LG. The LG's looking real good. Using the pillar to block as much as possible. Vengeur really kind of needed that rail to hit its mark to fight back. And the rail comes through for k1llsen all the same, making it a 3-0. And Vengeur, unfortunately, the fight's just not quite going into his favor. k1llsen's forcing him into these very awkward positions at the moment.
And that double jump mobility right there, that above heavy armor, was so wow. These rails from k1llsen was just making k1llsen pick his spots however he really pleased in that one. Vengeur gonna go down again at rockets. The LG not enough to stack too much from k1llsen. 5-0, running away with this one.
But there was also the element in that rail. Those 3 rails were pretty much in the same location. He was simply waiting for Vengeur to strafe back into it. You know, Vengeur may have been potentially a tiny bit predictable with how he was attempting to try and dodge those rails, and k1llsen kind of convinced that Vengeur was going to essentially move himself into the crosshair. And just disengaging now, getting the Mega unreturned rail for the first time in pretty much ever. Vengeur's not going to dedicate that one too hard. Ironically, maybe he potentially could have. With the stack that was remaining, k1llsen had no armor for a fair bit. Would have got at least another rail off before the light armor was collected.
Yeah, I think he was down to 86 HP, taking that orb, maybe another rail, but too risky. He's already down 5. He wants to make sure that he engages on a way better starting damage than that, as he's still down 5. Good rails again from k1llsen.
Yeah, k1llsen's rails have just been creating this eternal dilemma for Vengeur so far. Every time there's an angle, Vengeur gets just chunked away by the rail damage. Endlessly springs the trap, Vengeur falls for it. Hook, line, and sinker. Tries so hard to go in for the Dire Orb to get some damage, and it's still not going to be enough. k1llsen with the perfect play, and Vengeur falling right into the German's hands.
I mean, 6-0. I don't know if we would have ever expected this scoreline with Vengeur on the map, but k1llsen, again, a beast on this map in his own right. A little bit of tri-bolt from around the corner, but that's not going to do anything, and not even you know, make k1llsen fuss as he's just running these items without issue. There's the jump over with Doomguy. Rockets coming out. Good LG, but the rail from k1llsen once again gets him the frag. We are absolutely seeing k1llsen right now.
Speaking of which, he's going to deliver even more. The two-piece clean. I like it. And another uncontested heavy. Really nothing vengeur can do. He's getting constantly stuck in the spawn. And as long as he's spawning on the side that doesn't have the rail, like, this is a really big deal for vengeur to finally get back up. There is actually time for him to mount a comeback. He just needs to go hard as soon as he can. You know, he's pretty weak here, but he can't really afford to let k1llsen re-engage and get the fight because he's already much more stacked. Here comes the heavy, but vengeur very weak, out of LG ammo too. Only 3 rockets. I don't even know if he has the equipment to take this fight at all.
No rail at all, and the machine gun chase from k1llsen. He smelled blood. He realized you don't really have rail, do you? Because you're not taking any rail shots. Chased him down 9-1, gets the frag back. Here's a little bit of machine gun from k1llsen. The rockets raining down on the heavy. k1llsen gonna double back to the mega. You can see the heavy takes a little bit of LG damage, but he is in prime position to take this map right now. Up 8 with about 2:30 left on the clock.
Yeah, k1llsen certainly got a lot of real estate. There's 2.5 minutes left on the clock. Not going to dedicate to the dire orb there. Would have been quite an odd fight to take, especially with that's a direct with his name on it, really. But as we now go in, k1llsen can once more go back into that defensive game if he so wishes. He was just kind of cycling the items all the way, kind of going around the entire map and picking those crazy rails and really frustrating vengeur into positions where he's just running into his hands, really. Now 2 minutes on the clock, 8 frags to tie things up. There's a lot of work to do.
What a rocket.
Nice. But now k1llsen can really just slow this pace down. He doesn't need to overextend at all. Even if it involves one of the major items, there's no real need to push the advantage. vengeur using a lot of these dire orbs as distraction, but I kind of feel like so far they're not accomplishing a huge amount. You know, that dire orb normally used as such a wonderful piece of, you know, combo damage with the weapon combinations, damage on entry, mobility, and right now he's kind of just throwing it out to almost cause this distraction to try and take an item or something similar, and it's not giving him a huge amount. Does manage to get a frag. And I'm not going to say it's over until it's over, but once we hit the 1 minute warning, if it stays the way it is now and k1llsen just plays this runaway game, I mean, very tricky to come back from that.
I think k1llsen, in his own head, kind of knows he's taken this map. He saw that last frag vengeur got. k1llsen kind of just laughed to himself. And it shows a lot of confidence here. The LG comes out. There's the Berserk. vengeur shuts that down. 9-3 with a minute left. What kind of magic does vengeur have up his sleeve? That's a great rail. Is he going to take that orb? Throws it right off the map. That would have been catastrophic. The LG as k1llsen drops down onto the heavy.
If he gets a wonderful spawn every single time for every single frag that happens, there might be a fool's hope. However, it kind of needs to happen right now. And vengeur doesn't have a second to waste.
Oh,
with that denial, perfect weapon choice from k1llsen, knowing the risk. And everything here is just wasted time. Like, this one exchange here is just one in the game.
Not only did he do the putback LG or the get down LG, then he hit him with the rail again. Just constantly railing all game at 19 seconds. There's another one. Great rocket into orb. Almost another one, but k1llsen pulls out the fist, and look at how pumped he is.
Every single map counts at this stage in the tournament. You know, k1llsen falling short on his first map choice, that can sometimes create a little bit of doubt. When, you know, your very first pick goes against you, but k1llsen able to do another time something that has proven to be an almost impossible task, defeating vengeur on Awoken. k1llsen has added his name to that list.
Eerily quiet in the cathedral.
There's a lot of, I think you could definitely cut the intensity with a knife. The amount of people in this crowd that are going to be cheering for vengeur, that very much was a one-sided map against him. Yeah, and it was his best
not
map.
the biggest fans, not the biggest fans, but fantastic play from k1llsen. Going to tie it at 1 apiece in the series, and just so many rails. I can't. If we can get the stats later, I'd love to see his percentage on this map because it was insane. Look at that, just hitting everything. It felt like.
And at the same time, on top of his really good accuracy in general, there were a lot of rail shots where he was essentially forcing vengeur into a position where his movement was too predictable at the same time. Lots of jump pads, lots of rocket knockups where, you know, that's kind of almost muscle memory at that point. You know someone's using a jump pad, you know what their trajectory is going to be. A lot of those fights too, vengeur didn't actually have the dire orb, so when he was stuck in those positions where the rail was guaranteed, only wouldn't have been guaranteed if he had a Dire Orb to change the way he was stuck in place. But more often than not, vengeur just didn't really have the orb available. I don't really think it accomplished a huge amount. It would somewhat distract maybe, but that's really all it did, and it wasn't enough to really get many frags for sure. These frags at the end.
I think that was a huge confidence boost.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just forced him into a position. Punched him in the face.
It always feels good to go berserk on somebody, but still hyper focused. He wants to get into the second map. 68% rail.
Wow,
brutal.
Need we say more on that one? k1llsen coming out to play for another time, I think.
So going into Blood Run, k1llsen versus Sorlag.
It's hard not to count out. It's hard to count out, k1llsen on this map. He has a wonderful track record on it. Not only in QPL, but I mean just in general, right? Every time we see k1llsen play on Blood Run, he more than holds his own, and in some cases just absolutely unleashes devastation. Because it just fits his style. You know, very, very calculated and efficient. And again, a rail map, by all means.
More experience, I'd say, for k1llsen, but vengeur, possibly the best experience, was just beating base on it just a few hours ago. So he's no stranger. I think he might know how to handle it, but will we see another instance of k1llsen here as we're going to get into the third map? Blood Run, vengeur versus k1llsen. We got Sorlags and we got k1llsen's here. As we are live, one rail right off the bat, but vengeur is going to be the one to land that one. The turret comes down immediately. vengeur is going to go up into the nail room after grabbing an LG.
Now, vengeur did go for a pretty big start, understanding his spawn, knowing that k1llsen's much more likely to spawn near heavy. He did try and enforce some kind of pressure early on, didn't quite hit the rockets he was looking for. But I mean, that really, for me, spells that vengeur, he's not comfortable with just going with, you know, the norm where I take, you take, and you know, one of us breaks away. I really think there's going to be some spice added to this mix. Unfortunately, that shotgun doing a lot of damage. vengeur has to be really careful. k1llsen getting the final shot. That is the thing about these larger champions. They have larger hitboxes, and the SSG becomes much more devastating against them.
k1llsen grabs that 50 shard, makes his way back to the shotgun here. 8 seconds till the heavy. He's going to want to try and hold up here. I think, did he just spot him out? He smells something. Something's awry. There's one rocket. Won't get any information out of it, but I don't know if vengeur's going to peek. There's a rail attempt. vengeur can't find the mark.
So far, vengeur's not making those angles easy for him. He's really kind of dipping in and out at these extremely awkward times. Now, part of it is that potentially not having a rail. But we'll see what happens here as the Tribot comes through just to get a little bit of damage. Waiting for the magic moment to pop the Mega. There's a delay between Heavy and Mega, so if k1llsen in control right now, and even then, he's not going to shy away from being hit by that rail too much. It hasn't made a massive impact on him just yet. One more of those and we might be in business, but now k1llsen's just looking for the best time to go in and take the Heavy. As you can see, vengeur's looking to make the bait, looking to punish him if he goes for it, but vengeur can't really afford to stick around forever. There's one of those rails connecting, and that rail was the one-way ticket towards Heavy. Waits for him to pop up. The fight almost goes against.
Close, and look at k1llsen.
Oh yeah.
He's like, oh man, I ran out of rockets. That was too close. I don't like that.
The important thing though is that he's able to recover accordingly. That could have been disaster. But now it's just going to be continuing this giant lead that k1llsen is just building this momentum right straight off a map win. And now he's going into Blood Run, looking fully in control here. And once more, just this use of k1llsen on highly defensive maps, you can see what the turret does, shutting down some of those angles, almost covering his back a little bit with the rail, forcing vengeur to use some of his weapons on the turret instead of him. Kind of an open ticket to go and take the Mega in and out.
What a rocket there. k1llsen rail out. Gonna get a free Heavy off that rocket jump. Mega's gonna be up in 6 seconds, dropping down in position, trying to feel out where vengeur might be.
Now, I don't speak Italian, but I'm pretty convinced the Italian commentators must have just said, if you want to give vengeur support, let him know about it.
Because this place is shaking right now.
Oh, absolutely. I'm pretty sure there was a mini chant there too. And it's to no surprise. Like this is where we are, right? vengeur's taking so much damage though. And k1llsen just looking extremely comfortable and hard to crack into, but that's his style. Not only on Blood Run, but k1llsen, if you give him an angle, he will take a rail almost every single time. And we've seen from time and time again just what rails do to players. You know, it forces you in a horrific position. And at the moment, k1llsen's just eluding vengeur every single time. trying to potentially head him off and look for a unique angle to get those rails. He has the rail in mind, but I feel like every time you have an angle, k1llsen, you know, more than often than not, if you can rail somebody, they can rail you too, especially if they know where you are.
And at that point, do you really want to test your luck against k1llsen's rail right now after hitting 68%? vengeur's waiting on this tri-bolt here, nail out, taking a lot of LG. That's going to force the spit out defensively from vengeur. He really wants this heavy. He's scared of jumping. He knows k1llsen is down below.
And k1llsen with a lead like that, and the fact that he's near Mega, no signs of really budging. There is a little bit of tri-bolt damage, but it's still nothing really to write home about just yet. And vengeur is just trying to make a decision. And k1llsen just completely denying the heavy in every way. And this is all just taking time, isn't it? And we're just always keeping an eye on the clock. How awkward these exchanges might be. vengeur kind of weak, in fact, too. All it takes is one magical tri-bolt or a rail just like that, and vengeur's in a horrible position. But he just cannot allow k1llsen to consistently just run in and steal away the heavy. And now he's weak. It's like that's something that k1llsen might be more than happy to do. Yeah, we just saw the health. That was a rocket jump for sure. Straight up into the heavy to take away. Acid Spit comes out. He's been missing a lot of rails in this map. I think he's so mindful about trying to hit a rail angle and then deny one from k1llsen that it's just causing him to miss just by a micro inch.
Yeah, the head shake there on that last one. Let's make sure that he stays focused in the game. He's still got 5 minutes, only down 2. Very possible, but another rail from k1llsen. Absolutely relentless. He's going to grab a 50 shard. Grab a rocket launcher and eat another rail, and k1llsen is just everywhere right now.
But it's just how much of a solid gauge he has on how vengeur's moving around the map. So even with the use of X-Ray, does manage to get the punish. Can he finish it? A beautiful rocket jump to save him from the wall right there. That would have absolutely been a guaranteed frag had k1llsen not gone in for that rocket jump. However, the fight might not be over yet. The turret doing a decent amount of damage to him, to be honest. It's allowing k1llsen to disengage, collect all of those light pickups near power up for him. And just like that, our stack is back to normal. k1llsen, the reactions on that rocket jump to say, hang on now, this is a terrible situation. I'm out, see you later.
It was such a beautiful float by a vengeur too. And then k1llsen hit the panic button, rocket jumped out of there and saved his own life. Still up 2. The reigning champion looking to add another map. 2 rockets, though, needs to worry about the turret. vengeur needs to turn around and deal with it. Down to 81 HP. He's going to grab some health bubbles. Heavy is up, spamming nails. Making sure that this heavy is his. That's a good rail, but he's still very, very weak. k1llsen hanging on by a thread, though. He's going to use the nail room resources to get back up as best he can, but time is ticking.
But it looks like he's chasing it down. Oh, the turret just being a pain again. It really has been such an annoyance, but you can see why k1llsen's gone for the pick on this map. You know, similar to back in the day, the Galena totems being used near teleporters to be a massive nuisance. It's pretty much exactly what they're being now. The Acid Spit coming forward, acting as area denial for now in this eternal guessing game of who's going to make the play near heavy. Looks like k1llsen's going to go in and out. vengeur, no choice but to concede, but really can't allow him to go to get the Mega as well. And now he has to retreat. Try and build up some stack, look for those rails. k1llsen has made it so impossibly hard to just crack into this armor, and a rail's going to land too.
k1llsen wants the frag. Good defensive rocket from vengeur as he hears the rocket jump. There's another one. That one will be, I think, on the turret, actually, it looked like. But 225s for vengeur. He's absolutely crippled. Every rail k1llsen hits. Just a thorn in vengeur's side as another heavy goes towards k1llsen.
An awkward position for vengeur too. As weak as he is, no choice but to just sit and listen to that heavy getting collected. At the very least, it's going to give him timing, but I don't think timing's really going to help him at the moment, because every time the item is there in plain sight, he just feels like it's impossible to get from it. That rocket is a real heartbreaker. vengeur, weak enough as is, and still railable with the health that he's sitting on. He has to find some light armor, and he has to find its stat, but you know k1llsen's on the warpath. Speaking of which, here he is, looking for the rail in hand, and if he hits a magical angle, he might be able to deliver that shot, but right now just using it to establish more control, and control has been the aim of the game. Continuing to just cycle this map as vengeur is starved of any chance to come back.
Less than 2 minutes, and this is rough. The German looking to add the map to his... Wow, another rail in the float into shotgun. k1llsen had such a big stack. He was like, I'm just going to drop down and end this. 3-0, 130 left, making it infinitely harder. vengeur gets caught out at lightning, missed a rail from k1llsen. Mega's going to go to vengeur as it nails coming towards k1llsen's face.
I was literally, the second I saw even the second missed rail, I was looking right at the player cam. Because you know k1llsen, he's so well known for landing those rails. And those rails were pretty standard ones. They're not like the out of this world shots that he's so used to hitting so far. But 3-0 for k1llsen. Look, at the moment, we are just about to hit that 1 minute warning. vengeur tagged by another rail, forced on the back foot, and the time it takes for him to restack back up, even with those health bubbles, it doesn't mean a whole lot, especially when k1llsen's hitting rails the way he has been, with the exception of 30 seconds ago. But we'll forget about that. 50 seconds on the clock. vengeur, mammoth task once more. Excellent rail to shut it down, and the rails have just been
wow. I mean, look at the wrist to deny the heavy.
vengeur has to try something at this point. The timer just isn't on his side. He's going to get juggled a bit. Rocket jumps just to disengage that situation.
Such an incredible shot from k1llsen. That hits another rail. 4-0, less than 30.
And this is going to be another map win for k1llsen, but he's going to make it 2-1. This was absolutely the k1llsen show. vengeur just, I feel like he was just a guest on this map. No point did he really have a chance to play at all. k1llsen just shut him down every step of the way. Every rail angle was met with a shot. He's pushing in just in case. I mean, any frag here at this point is going to be bonus. vengeur's going to fall for the 6th time, but that's another map done. k1llsen making it 2-1. And he's 1 map away from eliminating the Italian Stallion.
And he is ecstatic right now. Still more work to be done. And the crowd are trying to pump up vengeur right now as he's looking down the barrel of a, well, double barrel shotgun, it looks like.
Definitely at the start of the map. That's the benefit of those facing off against those larger champions. You know, the super shotgun dictated by spread. The larger you are, the bigger you'll appear in that spread. And Sorlag, Clutch, Scalebearer, they don't like super shotgun very much, especially when they're on the receiving end.
A bit allergic, and look at that. There's just another instance of him using the shotgun. Shotgun and rail, just bread and butter on this map, and that pick out of the sky from k1llsen.
There were just so many awkward exchanges that vengeur was essentially forced into. It was that early start, k1llsen getting the early level of control thanks to that first frag. Allowed him to kind of just pick his angles nice and carefully. He's not realistically going to miss a lot of those rails versus someone as large as Sorlag. And it really was vengeur trying super hard to get back into the map with any small pickup he could, but by the time he was taking those items, k1llsen kind of had that rail angle ready. It's almost like he just had a complete mind of everywhere vengeur was going to try and retreat to. So anytime something resembled the chance to come back, there was just nothing to be had. And he was just controlling from start to finish. That was 10 minutes of pure k1llsen dominance.
So stifling when you try and get just any kind of stack going, and it's just rail, rail, rail. Show your face from around any corner, and k1llsen is there waiting to deal damage. Molten Falls is going to be the next map we're going to get into, and it looks like it's going to be BJ and Athena loading up shortly. And vengeur needs to find a little bit of magic, needs to put something together immediately.
We are reaching the awkward situation of some of the map picks. I'm not definitely not saying that these players don't know how to play every champion in the game, because that would be straight up.
You'd be a liar.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying is that now we're kind of reaching the later stages. There is always the potential that we start to get forced onto champions that maybe some players aren't as used to or don't have as much immediate experience with. There are champions that get picked almost 100% of the time that you can guarantee. But in this best of 5 scenario, especially in the later stages, which we're now very much moving into, champions, they might start to make a pretty big difference. Molten Falls, it does demand specific picks. Athena or Molten, I mean, that makes total sense. We have seen it plenty of times. The verticality goes a long way. The speed goes a long way as well. This could be Kid Bellissimo's last chance to stay alive in this tournament and bring us into a final map, or is k1llsen going to tie the knot right now?
Starting off on vengeur, starting off on the rail and the heavy. Super high mobility on this Athena. Might be able to see some creative plays here from the young Italian. There's one little shotgun blast right off the bat from k1llsen. vengeur waiting patiently. k1llsen not showing a sight. I think he peeked a little bit and just chipping. Someone saying, hi, how are you?
k1llsen just peppering it down, and it's actually really starting to add up quite significantly to the point where it's forcing vengeur to be a little bit more careful. However, he's going to get the heavy all the same. Mega is now active, but what's the play from k1llsen? Once more, he's just sitting there and delaying it a little bit. Not content with a straight-up trade. He wants that option, so if he gets a frag here, to start running the cycle around. And it's that level of k1llsen when we've seen all series long, when he has control established and there is a delay in between the two pickups, he becomes exceptionally dangerous, because you take that cycle plus Immaculate Rail, And, you know, that's it. It allows k1llsen to play his game.
What a great rail dropping down onto the heavy. There's the hook, but he's not going to get the momentum he wanted off that. Going up the jump pad, that's going to be a little bit better. He is going to hear the mega pickup. Great rail from around the corner onto k1llsen as he tries to escape. He's going to definitely re-up on rails. I think we're going to see vengeur try and utilize a lot of these on this map.
But there is absolutely an element of health and armor pool once more. Athena, we said it earlier, glass cannon is absolutely how you describe this champion pick. vengeur, he has to make sure that when he's landing these shots that he's being as careful as he possibly can on the chase to make sure these defensive rockets don't connect and absolutely melt them away. Has been able to connect before the mega. That said, k1llsen able to collect the mega and then quickly go in for the escape in the light armor. Very risky play if you're going to be Athena this close. Watch out for the rockets. Here we go. Potential for one of the frags to happen. Neither player interested in taking the fight too much. It's going back to that patient game. Heavy's about to spawn, but he's holding a rail angle. vengeur just needed about a second longer and he might have hit that rail, but it doesn't matter because he's getting the heavy all the same. He's not going to take any damage just yet. k1llsen's still pretty weak. Oh, perfect shot. He even tried to adjust his angle with the grappling hook and still k1llsen was able to hit that rail. Wonderful shot.
vengeur making his way over to the 50 shard to top off that armor here. Heavy's going to be up at about 7 seconds. A nice 10-second split between the items here as rails exchange. Nothing's going to land. vengeur does have all 3 hooks. He can get a little crazy if he wants. k1llsen with a jumping rail attempt there.
But in the time k1llsen's been able to stay alive and those defensive shots that have stopped vengeur from being able to really press the advantage too hard has naturally allowed him to build that stack to a significant level. And the dual wields coming through. We're going to try and bang out just a little bit, but k1llsen still has a stack even without it to try and potentially win this fight. It's all going to lie on these entry rails. Who's going to get the first burst of damage? vengeur's got to be really careful. Going in for the kill!
Wow.
The close range rail! I cannot believe he hit a shot like that! But it's going to be 1-0. He's very weak. He has to get in and out as quickly as he possibly can, otherwise k1llsen's going to refrag this. Has to watch out. The grappling hook, but delays it just slightly to get that small health bubble. Can he get the second shot? Almost does, and that would have been a 2-0. But what a first frag that was.
That play was so ballsy. And into the rail. Hit him with the 2-piece rocket to rail combo as the crowd comes alive, and so does vengeur up 2. I don't think k1llsen expected that hook towards him on that first frag. He's like, you would never. And then he did, and then he hit the rail. Then he had that combo right there. vengeur absolutely finding his rhythm here. 4 minutes on the board, up 2. Does need a little bit more armor here. Heavy just got taken. Mega's going to be up soon, but his positioning's a little off. Can't really fight for this. Maybe get a rail off if he's lucky, but instead he's going to make his way over towards this armor shard. Pray that it comes up soon.
You can never doubt the confidence of vengeur. It's one of his strongest suits now, especially in 2019. You can always count on him to just deliver those clutch, crazy moments. However, he has been ambushed.
Wow.
And that will be a free pickup from k1llsen, who just put that position perfectly. Unfortunately for vengeur, now giving up a huge amount of control for it. And now he's, you know, that glass cannon effect might become a little bit of a pain. He has to try and disengage as much as possible, get the weapons back online, and he needs to get himself a rail as well. And that's kind of, you know, k1llsen heading him off, going in for the dual wield, springing the trap, but he's getting juggled massively. But it doesn't matter. All the shots in the world cannot compete with the stack of k1llsen with the amount of pickups he had just acquired. vengeur really trying to dig his heels in, but just couldn't deliver the damage needed.
Dual wield pop, the rockets on point. vengeur trying to fight for his life, but that lightning gun can't land what he needs. k1llsen with a great job tying it at 2. So we got 5 minutes left here. Is k1llsen going to put the bow on it? Steals the mega for free. Absolutely no damage put out from vengeur as he fires one lone rocket that doesn't land.
I'm really curious as to how vengeur is going to approach challenging these pickups from this point on, you know, because he's such a light champion, and Athena, and she can get in and out, but we've clearly seen that she can really struggle in the stack department when these fights break out. It's kind of how vengeur just died previously on the way to rail. So with k1llsen maintaining a stack that is significantly larger than vengeur, how does he pick these fights? Looking for a rail, k1llsen misses his shot. Sign of life from vengeur. He's going to pop the dual wield. Can vengeur escape with his life? Does manage to evade the rail, and that's a win as far as I'm concerned, just to deny k1llsen from keeping a massive stack. That was so well played that he could get away while avoiding the rail.
Really good reactionary hook to get out of there, and that's why Athena can be so deadly. The escapes are great. Closing the gap is great. Decent little rocket there from k1llsen. Bit of a stalemate as he grabs the heavy great rail from vengeur now. k1llsen makes his way towards the Mega. Up in 2. vengeur nowhere to be found, so that's another freebie. No rockets for llsen, but this shouldn't be an issue as you can go around the corner, grab some more.
I definitely don't see with how this map has unfolded and kind of how vengeur and how carefully he's having to respect llsen in this situation. I don't see this going down to a significant frag deficit. I really think it's going to come down to maybe 1 or 2. And vengeur, he wants to be careful because he knows, look, if he's surviving and he maintains a regular stack, there's always a chance for him to secure that one important frag, and then he can play off it as the time starts to go down. You know, there really is going to be a patient man's game here, but in short bursts. You know, vengeur, he's been able to bring the pain in tiny micro bursts. However, that rail has just spelled quite negative things here for vengeur because llsen's stack is still crazy good. The retreat becomes a bit more predictable, does get the perfect read on going into rail room, but not really in position to do anything about it. It looks like he might have to potentially concede heavy. vengeur, he can't overstay his welcome. With 3 minutes left to go, if he sticks around that 1 second too long on any of these pickups, he's going to get chunked down by llsen. Doesn't matter how much damage he's doing. If llsen keeps armor the way he is right now, it's going to be so hard to take a fight.
I do love that defensive rocket. vengeur heard the dual wield popped, fired a rocket, and was out of there. That's going to keep llsen off his back, at least for the time being. But llsen has quite the stack. There's a great rail. Is this the entry he's looking for? vengeur very weak. llsen trying to double back now and cut off vengeur as best he can.
llsen's the one with all the resources, and that's the problem. Every time he does manage to land a shot versus vengeur, yes, he escapes, but at the cost of the major pickup that he's trying to guard. Here comes Mega, very important rail, unreturned, which spells good news for vengeur, looking for another shot, but in and out. Here comes the Mega. Can he turn it around? Uh-oh, bad time to get knocked down, misses the rail. But vengeur very, very weak. How does he try and play this defensive game? llsen heading him off near top. And he runs into the tri-bolt. vengeur's got to be very careful here. And he's kind of limited on resources he can pick up to try and help himself out. Once more forced to give up the heavy for another time. He's been able to bring himself back up to a basic stack. But yeah, I think llsen's wise to this position. The rail. vengeur heard it. And he's now looking for the shot once more. Looking to dick down and deny Mega. He's jumping down there, able to escape with his life again. Very important that he can get in and out in that situation. Now, for the first time, really the whole map, llsen's the one that's really having to be careful. He doesn't have a stack. He gets hit by one rail. He's spelling bad news for himself. And now he needs to try and get some information. He's now having to give up the heavy. Just like that. One rail, one moment where he tries to fight for Mega and finds himself in a position where he can't chase and Athena is too fast. Now he's the one that has to worry. How is this going to go down?
Trying to fortify his stack as best he can as we're rounding into the last minute of this. Are we going to see sudden death? Or does Kid Bellissimo have a little bit of magic for us here? There's the hook. This could be the perfect read. There's another hook. The rocket's good. Pops him up into the wall. Needs one more. The switch. Oh, no! And llsen will take himself out. vengeur takes the lead.
You know, at the very least, llsen was looking for a trade in that situation. Definitely not losing out on a frag and making the divide by 1. Hits a very important rail. That matters a great deal because now llsen's in a position to really get that chokehold on, chase it down, get the frag he's looking for. If you're vengeur, you've got to be playing on an absolute knife's edge right now.
One frag, 30 seconds. Can he hold on? llsen goes flying by. He's trying to hit him. That's a decent rocket. The LG will push him off. That's going to be good. The rocket jump comes out. llsen had no choice, and the defensive LG from vengeur is fantastic. 20 seconds left, and that may have sealed it.
The absolute benefit and the wonderful pick for Athena in the first place to really just descend faster than any champion can, to put himself at an angle where he can land a shot like that. This should, by all means, be a map win. llsen and vengeur, we're going down to a map number 540.
vengeur has done it. llsen's not happy about it, but vengeur extends his life in this tournament.
Oh, I just love how carefully he approached that map. You know, we so often see players when they use these light champions, you know, they use the speed, and sometimes the speed is their worst enemy. And it all came out such a crazy flag.
I still say that play was insane. All in, hook to rail, worked out, and this float was so close.
But vengeur was using the mobility of Athena really for those micro situations. It wasn't so he could constantly just fly around the map and you know, kind of do a little bit of showing off, right? Sometimes we see that from players. But vengeur was just being so calculated. He understood that he gets caught in one bad position. There are quite a few parts of Molten where if you get hit by one bad rail or rocket and there's nowhere really to run, you just get absolutely destroyed.
And look at the control. vengeur didn't have that much control at all.
He spent a lot of the start of the map conceding control. You know, as long as he maintained his regular base stack, that's kind of all he was looking for. He was just looking for that one magic moment to go in. And, you know, when the time was right, he'd take a fight. Other than that, just allow k1llsen to run around and take those items. As long as he's able to hit those rails, the rails kept him going so much. So many situations where if he missed that entry rail as k1llsen's pushing the advantage, k1llsen would have been like, right, you've missed the shot. What do I have to worry about now? And just delete. You know it would have happened. There's so much crazy micro shots he had to take to stay alive. And then ran away with it at the very end. But map number 5. Did we expect it any other way, Forty?
Going the distance, and I don't think we did. As the reigning champ, he's thinking it over. He's like, doesn't make me too happy. Doesn't make me too happy. Corrupted Keep. It's going to be Death Knight versus Keel. Big fan of the Keel pick on this map. Very small map. No rail on this one. No rail-sen. He's going to have to switch to heavy machine gun Sin, or LG Sin. We'll have to see.
I got to say that I favor vengeur in this position. I think the rail has been such a shutdown tool with k1llsen. You know, some of his greatest successes over the course of this series has really started and stemmed from amazing rail shots. And vengeur just, he's feeding all the momentum after a map like that. We're now going into our final map. If you're in chat, let us know who you want to win. vengeur with that Keel, k1llsen with the Death Knight. We're definitely in a map 5 territory with some of these champion picks. Keel, a lot of close environments to get some damage peppered out. However, k1llsen, the Death Knight, all it takes is one close encounter to delete.
There's 2 pineapples, but no citrus yet as nothing connects. vengeur gonna grab this lower 50. A little bit of rocket splash, nothing landing quite yet. Heavy machine gun is going to be so crucial, and there's the jump down with the flame strike to keep him out. It's going to bully vengeur off. He's going to wait by rockets. Here, k1llsen's going to make his way through LG. That rocket pineapple into rocket. What a combination from vengeur. Absolutely delicious for the first frag.
Greatest rockets in the world. Do you need any other example? What a wonderful way for him to start this map. And it's just the calculation, you know, he knows if he misses that rocket, he's dead. He's taking so much damage, but he's still delaying the shot, hitting it carefully and just, you know, pulling the trigger when the time is right. And he's done a great job of being able to restack back up. He has plenty of rockets, loads of grenades in the tank. That is the benefit of Kill, right? The fact that he doesn't have to worry about the rest of the weapons he's shooting to fire his grenades. He can just pepper out damage at an alarmingly fast rate.
Another great rocket there as k1llsen made his way to the heavy. He does secure it. Needs to be careful here as vengeur has such good defensive rockets right now. That one goes zooming by his head. k1llsen looking for some damage. Gets a little bit of information off that splash. But vengeur not afraid to stand his ground. He's got rockets, he's got pineapples, and he's got the frag lead. But this is it. That rocket pop could be everything into the LG. k1llsen ties it at 1.
And now he's been able to get himself straight back into this map. The spawn near nail rim. Not that k1llsen's really bothered at this point, thanks to Heavy just about to respawn. A fat stack. And the flame strike ready to rock and roll. Doesn't pull the trigger on it just yet. I think really saving for a good opportunity to pop it in that situation. Back to that awkward position. vengeur, unfortunately, a little bit larger in terms of champion size. The heavy machine gun and the LG from that angle is going to be a little bit easier to land too. And k1llsen having no trouble picking that one up, making it 2-1. Plenty of opportunities for this to turn around. We're going to stock up on some LG ammo, enforce the positioning with the Mega. How much damage is k1llsen able to do? Has to kind of concede it. Doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks. At this point, actually, looking towards the heavy as well.
Fortunately, a little bit too early there. vengeur made it, bullied his way onto that Mega. More pineapples and rockets being fired. There's a little bit of LG, decent defensive rocket there, keeping k1llsen at bay. Probably not the best idea to chase. Regardless, 2-1 advantage to the reigning champ. A little bit of LG outside the telly here as vengeur makes his way to the tri-bolt.
He's done a good enough job being able to whittle down vengeur enough too, where the Mega's completely uncontested. And vengeur, it's a bit of an awkward room to get stuck in. And one wayward direct rocket in that position can spell quite bad news. k1llsen has a nice level of control at the moment. Kind of just gradually cycling these items. There's, of course, a delay in between the two of them so far. So k1llsen's able to keep the amount of stack he's working with. vengeur, there's not really a lot of resources to get back up. There's no armor in sight down here. So vengeur's just looking for his opportunity to try and escape, but he's being absolutely chased by k1llsen. Is k1llsen even going to deny this light armor, or is he going to go in for the kill outright? Yeah, vengeur's so weak. Hard for him to escape with his stack. And actually, he's been trying to stay alive for so long, it allowed a full rotation of the next set of major items to appear. Heavy's going to go down too. He has time to work with this. We can afford to be careful, but I feel like right now this might be the killing blow. Ooh. Shut down, but not enough to shy away k1llsen just yet, as he's still nice and healthy. And that rocket failing to connect so far.
Ooh, the double back doesn't work out, as k1llsen reads it perfectly, dropping down. Looking at rain rockets, 4 minutes in, 3-1. vengeur's gonna grab rockets of his own, does have pineapples on hand as always, but the fight for the Mega won't be much of a fight at all as k1llsen secures that one. Growing stronger and stronger as he's just cycling these items. vengeur's gonna drop down from behind the statue, coming out swinging here. Good rocket from k1llsen there.
k1llsen's kind of adapting that kind of slow style back into Corrupted Keep. I know this is normally seen as one of the more aggressive maps that you can play, but it is back to that classic game plan, right? Let's just sit and absorb some of that info. Keep the comfortable lead that he's sitting on at the same time. vengeur's going to fall again, really, I think, struggling to just find his footing. And here we go, he's going for the chase. Another heavy's going to go into his hands. At this stage, this really looks like it's kind of shaping up to be his map to go through.
So much LG, as getting caught behind that statue so deadly. 5-1, the German punishing appropriately. 10 seconds left until mid-round here. Lots of machine gun dodging the pineapple. That could have been the difference maker there. vengeur putting out good damage, but he needs to use this to try and get a frag, at least secure some resources. It looks like the items might be traded. k1llsen could make it to try and chip away here. vengeur needs to be careful. It's not going to be free. Finally puts up a good enough fight to secure the heavy, but his health is very, very low. He is going to stack back up in the red room. And it's going to look a lot healthier, but still 4x down, coming in like a wrecking ball. The rockets are going to be good. 27 damage. Grabs the 25-52. The chase with the LG. The flame strike, but the rocket's too strong from vengeur. 5-2 as he puts one on the board.
Absolutely needed that one to get straight back in. He's not running out of time just yet, but the clock is always ticking eternally, and he's been able to pick one back up. He's on the chase. k1llsen's defensive rockets looking pretty good. Has to understand the fact there's going to be a heavy taken. There's nothing really vengeur can do about that. He just needs to make sure he establishes and keeps the stack going so he can always fight. One of the drawbacks he's been having so far is, unfortunately, actually, I always believe a bit of a drawback of Keel's, that vengeur's been forced into some positions where there's really no escape plan, and there's no way the champion can get away. There are no tools available there. And k1llsen has had no issue just really just spraying the LG into him. And, you know, Keel's just got to hold that, right? There's been a couple of these frags given up kind of because of that drawback. vengeur has to make sure he establishes control as much as possible. k1llsen happy for him to take the heavy just to get a bit of information as to where he's going to escape. k1llsen is the one in control of this map thanks to his lead. And it is vengeur ultimately that has to come to him. And these defensive shots, you know, the flame strike, making it a bit more obvious where vengeur might have to try and run. If not, he has to wait it out. That's going to be time wasted. Here he goes now into LG. vengeur trying to just get a bit of entry damage thanks to the grenades. LG's going to look pretty good. Has a whole bunch of armor too. vengeur has to be very careful with how he approaches the Mega. He has been able to run in and quickly snap it up. The light armor, that is one healthy kill. But will it matter? Machine gun from range, doing a bunch of damage to k1llsen now, forcing him to retreat just a little bit. How does vengeur head him off? Going in towards potentially Boneyard, looking towards the right as well. We need a little bit of LG ammo to boot. And k1llsen, I love the range. He's staying just outside that magic range. Unfortunately, he's giving up a lot of heavy machine gun because of it. Oh my.
Oh wow, that is a lot of damage. As k1llsen hanging on by a thread, 225s in the red room will go to him. vengeur opts for the Mega. It's like, thank you for that one. I'll take that. The flame strike comes out. k1llsen does steal away the heavy, and that's going to help his stack a lot. As k1llsen just playing the defensive game, just trying to stay alive for another 2.5 minutes.
Has to be very careful about these rockets. This is not a good situation to get stuck in, and now k1llsen able to just re-establish for another time. 2.5 minutes left on the clock. k1llsen's on the verge of being able to eliminate vengeur and really shutting down the Italian dream that no doubt this whole venue's feeling. He's one hit away from death, vengeur. How can he survive this? He's so close to dying here.
23 HP in the boneyard, and that's where his bones will rest. 6-2 for the German.
Entry over there. 100 damage on the rocket.
What a
That's
rocket.
bad news, vengeur. He's just looking for one opening, but every time there's one, k1llsen is just there to just, you know, be the gatekeeper, as it were. Just say, you're not getting in. No win for you. And he's shutting down more machine gun. vengeur, awkward position, and the clock is just going down even more as we go to 7-2. It's looking kind of bleak for the Italian. Can he pull this one back? This might be a miracle comeback if it's going to happen.
That's a good start, but the rocket for k1llsen, the mutual will come out. Minute 30, down by 5. And do you believe in Italian miracles catch up?
I certainly do, but I just feel like q1llsen's going to play this 100% runaway game at this point. He's going to just try and drag out these frags as much as possible. If he's even able to get one extra himself, it becomes just, very dangerous position. vengeur getting out LG'd, and I fear that the Italian dream is starting to dwindle quite significantly here. We're going into the 1 minute warning. 6 frags to take q1llsen in such good shape to take this 3-2 last map situation. And it's just coming through, just vengeur, there's not enough mobility there. He can't get around as often as he wants to. The grenades haven't been massively impactful just yet for helping him survive these fights. He's able to survive longer, sure, because of the stack lead, but all it's doing is delaying the inevitable, and he's losing time anyway.
40 seconds. Time ticking. As it ticks down, q1llsen is getting closer and closer to making it officially to the semifinals here. 68 HP in the red room. He's going to make his escape. And with a 6 frag deficit, it's a little heartbreaking. It is. An amazing run by vengeur throughout this tournament.
All the way through. He's been having some world-class gameplay. I know he's going to be gutted for it. He was really looking for the finals or the tournament win in his sights, but q1llsen is going to be the one to take this win, defeating vengeur for another time, and he can finally, after many maps indeed, breathe an intense sigh of relief.
It took him a full 5, but the champ showing everybody why he is the reigning champ. Hangs in the pocket, gets it done. Big shouts to q1llsen, but look at that. Look at the respect there. The crowd absolutely roaring for their hometown hero, Kid Bellissimo, with a fantastic run through this tournament.
You know the crowd's going to send him off with some love. It's a shame to see him go out now, but when you go up against the world champ and you take him to game 5 like that, anything can happen. I believe we'll be throwing it to the stage soon, have a little bit of a chat with q1llsen. I'd love to know how he feels after a sigh of relief like that. And we'll take it away now.
Thank you very much, guys. A fantastic 5-map performance worthy of your champion, whoever won, but it happens to be the gentleman who had the belt before who will move forward this time. First of all, can we please have a round of applause for both of these guys, because that was fantastic, right? You broke Italian hearts today, but it's also the job of a champion to do what needs to be done. How was that?
Yeah, I mean, he sadly was on my road here to make it to the, to make it further. And yeah, I knew it's going to be a tough match, and he played really well. He's still stepping up, each event. He's still, there's still potential. I can feel that. And yeah, I mean, he played really, really well. Came down to 5 maps. What else you want,
Mark of a champion going into game number 5, a position you've been in many times before. But tell me what your thoughts were when it was 2-2, you loaded onto Corrupted Keep.
I felt quite comfortable overall because I'm very good in the champion pool I can use. Yeah, I think yeah, that made me kind of go into that, like, there's a chance very, very good here to take this. And yeah, in the end, it worked out. Like, I felt a little more comfortable in the end with the last setup we had there, and just carried me through.
Well, congratulations once again, a 5-map epic. You'll get a little bit of a rest now before you're back on stage next, but of course you're through to the next stage of the competition. 5 maps worth of analysis, ladies and gentlemen, here now. Let's head back to the caster desk, and they can explain how that unfolded.
I think my favorite thing about just the fact that we went to that map 5 was it was just a perfect demonstration of how versed in Quake Champions both of these players were. The amount of game styles they had to adapt, and obviously the champions add that new flair every single time, even down to Keep, where look, we had Death Knight and Keel. How often do you see a matchup like that? Yet they both still played it at the highest level.
Absolutely agree. q1llsen showing why he's the champ. Deep map knowledge, deep map pool, and champ pool. Getting it done. And I mean, as he said, I'm just good. q1llsen 2019. Put that in the quote books.
But fundamentally, what this means for q1llsen is the fact that we have our top 4 decided. It's going to be Cypher and Razy, and then Cooler and q1llsen. We're talking about runbacks. We're just about to have yet another runback with Cooler and q1llsen going head-to-head. The QuakeCon rematch. Can you make up a path better than this?
No, I think this is going to be fantastic. I think Cooler very much so looking forward to that redemption, kind of falling short in QuakeCon. Everyone was very surprised at the performance, at how dominant q1llsen was, and I'm sure Cooler's been thinking about this for the past 10 weeks, saying, I want my revenge. But there are the stats from the set. It went all 5, and q1llsen showed up 52% rail and fantastic control.
You always expect vengeur to bring his A game, and he did that and then some this weekend. You know, couldn't quite clutch it out. I really do feel like a part of that did come down to just Q not having any impact, and part of that might have just been, I think, just the pick and ban process, right? That by the end of that point, there's not a lot left in the tank that you can select. You know, Q does have a place on some of those maps, but really he was just a massive target, and he couldn't really